Claire Bland. I'm the editorial director of IndieWire, and I am so pleased to be joined by the two people who are coming on stage with me. We have our composer, Max Richter. And our director, co-writer, and editor, Chloé Zhao. Is this anyone's second or third time with the film? Or are we all newbies? Oh, I see some hands. How are you guys feeling? It's very bright.
I see everyone.
Max and Chloe, this is the first time that you've worked together. I was really curious about other projects that you have done individually that the other might have admired and said, that's someone I want to work with.
I actually try to play cool whenever he's next to me. I separate the person that I listen to in the morning, in the evening, all day when I cry, when I laugh, when I go on dates, so I just don't think of him as that person on Spotify. This is just a composer I work with on this film. Otherwise, I can't do this.
So everything. Yeah.
I first came across Chloé's work actually with Nomadland, which was a film I watched about sort of 6 times because I thought it was so wonderful. I literally did. When the script landed in my inbox, I was just like very excited immediately.
Chloe, what were you looking, were you just looking for Max? What were you looking for?
I was looking for Max.
Okay, so it was Max or no?
Yeah. So he's busy, not cheap either. So I couldn't afford him in the past. I don't think I could afford him now. I think he did us a favor. But I just knew his music so elemental. Obviously I didn't know you, but as soon as I met you, you said one of the first things you were saying about music, you said it's vibrational. I think the way Max, at least for me, the way he understands music is not just about the melodies or things like that, but it's such an elemental human, that we're just vibrational beings from the Big Bang. And the desire to use music to sort of harmonize and get people's vibration on the same page. So there you can feel this oneness that is in his music very much. It feels very spiritual, almost religious. So I knew for this story, nature, creativity, this feeling of one with life, death, oneness, that we're trying to achieve, transcending the deepest grief. I think Max Richter's music can probably handle this kind of story. Yeah.
Max, when you got the script, beyond seeing it's Chloe, what was your first reaction to reading it? And are you imagining the music that you might compose for this? What is that process like for you?
Yeah. As soon as I read it, really, I was just like, yeah, I'm doing this, because the writing is so wonderful. I love Shakespeare, and I actually hadn't, even though I read all the time, I actually hadn't read the book, so that for me was quite lucky, so I was encountering it for the first time. It often happens to me if I'm reading a script, I immediately start having musical ideas. So I just started thinking about the musical sort of, what the palette might be, And I guess, obviously it's a very deep human story, but it's also embedded in something bigger, it's the beyond, it's nature, that sort of bigger context. So I loved the potential, in a way, landscape that the music could occupy and be part of, thematically, and I just started thinking straight away about stuff, and I wrote a bunch of things, off the page, and sent them over sort of fairly quickly, I think.
Before I started production, so I had music playing out loud on set. It's written for the film.
What was it like the first time you guys actually met? Did you meet in person first, or was it a Zoom thing? What was that?
I can't actually remember. Was in person.
You don't remember? Disappointing.
It's all a blur. It's all a blur.
We met in Soho.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yes, and we had
the Soho
a
Hotel?
meal. Yes.
We did.
Yes,
That is right.
I remember.
I'm a bit hazy on chronologies
Okay,
generally.
fine.
Yeah.
Yes, and then if I may share, I did ask him about why he wanted to do music, and he described being a young boy and then seeing the sun coming through the window, and just the feeling of the sun on your skin.
Yeah.
Is it wrong?
No, that's right.
Yeah. But then how do you capture that feeling? And what can you possibly capture? What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Why
Yeah.
don't you raise your microphone?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, is this something not really tangible? You know, I think music is so much older than film. You know, same as like the written word. Sometimes, you know, we read some lines that Maggie wrote on the page, remember me, and then blank on the page. I mean, how can the film language capture that, like, directly? It triggers something so old in us. And the same is with music. So, I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, I was going to ask, what did you bond over? It sounded like you bonded over music and emotions and memory. And I mean, you could say anything right now.
Yeah,
Max
it
would
could be
feel so
anything.
bad.
I think maybe me trying to get free sleep tickets to your concerts, stuff like that. Yeah, a few things. But also Purcell.
Yeah.
We were.
Well, I guess we just started talking about some of the kind of meeting points between the musical languages and you know the drama, the psychology, the thematic aspects of the film, and I felt like we were pretty much immediately on the same page. You know, very much aligned, and it was a very easy sort of conversational process. And I would say that the whole film was like that. Actually, it just felt very kind of organic, and everything just. It's funny, everything just kept getting better, which it kind of almost never happens. I think, you know, often you know you'll read a script and it's like, the script's great, it's great, and then everything just like gets slightly worse all the time, and then it's like, oh, it's really not great, you know. But in this case, every element that sort of, you know, like seeing the performances for the first time, I mean, it was just stunning, and Johnny's work's amazing, and it looks amazing, and it just all kept getting better, and that was really great to be around.
So, Chloe, you said you had some of Max's music during pre-production. What is that process like in terms of how much music are you sending her during pre-production? How many complete songs? I'm always so curious about the literal process.
Yeah, I made I guess about half an hour of stuff. Different colors. Some of it was, so I did a kind of a trip through a very famous lament from Dido and Aeneas. So that was kind of one little kind of atom at one point. I made some more abstract choral material, and actually that sort of stayed part of things, and you know that choral material that you've heard in the film is very close to what I sent at that time. And then I made a couple of other things. Yeah, that's right, the rehearsal scene, which is this sort of ground bass thing. So yeah, there were just it's almost like music with the intention of sort of making an inquiry into the texture of that world, of the sort of the possible world. It's like a little research project in a way. You know, that's what those musics are for me, to try and discover the properties of the world and how music could feel inevitably part of it somehow.
You forgot a really awesome bit that you did. So he sent a bunch of colors, which my cast would listen to before production. And then I think it's like a few days before we start shooting, you sent me a remix of the Night Herb Charm.
Oh yeah,
So
did.
you know the one where she goes like, remember Magra?
Oh, yeah.
You know that when she's trying. So Jessie would just basically did that on her iPhone. She just did this whole thing. It's a very long thing. And then I had no idea. I sent to Max, just like, by the way, just for inspiration. And he sent back this, how do you describe that?
Well, it was like a hurdy-gurdy sort of freak folk thing.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, why is that? That should be on the album.
Right.
Yeah, you should put that album. Because what happened is that at the end of it was so incredible, and at the end there's like a little part where the chant changes, and she's talking about like all nine plants rise. You know, she's like
it's really
summoning,
amazing.
and then your music dips out, and suddenly this operatic. What is it?
Well, it's a choir, but it's also it's like 8 hurdy-gurdies or something.
But
It's really
it's a
loud.
woman singing.
Yeah.
But it sounded like some kind of war cry.
It is. It's pretty kind of sort
like
of throaty.
Celtic war cry kind of feeling. So we blasted that out on the first day of shooting in the forest and really get everyone going. You
That's
should
really
see the
funny.
look on Paul and Jesse's face. They're all just like, yes, let's go. You should have put that on the vinyl. Team, come on. You guys forgot about that one.
I forgot about it.
It was featured right
It was
there.
amazing. Yeah.
So I was going to ask, I mean, when you have this stuff in place and you can share it with the cast on a very immediate level, how does that impact what they're doing and how they're feeling?
Well, Jessie's very musical. By the way, she's also a bigger obsessed with you than I am. She's been to all your concerts and stuff. So she would create these playlists, you know, at the night before, just listening, and then in the morning I would usually get a couple songs. Paul occasionally does it too. And then so as soon as they get to set, we start playing the music. The music doesn't stop until after action. So the music will slowly go out, and they will take their cue for the scene. Sometimes they will have a earpiece with music, and they will play the scene with music in their head. So it's really important. I think, again, earlier, that kind of harmonizing power of music, I think is, I can't imagine me filming.
So what sort of themes were most important for Max to have in the score? Because, I mean, I think there's a lot of very obvious themes, but was there anything a little different that you wanted him to tap into that we sort of feel it? We don't even necessarily know what it is, but we know where it's coming from.
Did you ever do that subsonic?
There isn't really subsonic stuff in there. It's not really. Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we?
It's a
Bit late now. Should we open it?
Well, I told the interviews earlier today you did it.
No, there is a tiny bit. Like basically, there's.
I'm not lying.
No, you're not totally lying.
I don't
But
always know everything he's doing.
basically, one thing is that I've extended the range of the orchestra downwards with electronics, and one of the colors in the film is actually a lot of electronic music, but it's made from samples of the kind of period string instruments and the kind of folkloristic, hurdy-gurdy and nickel harper and all these kinds of these instruments which sound kind of rough. And we sort of took those and transformed them into a kind of electronic palette for some of the more abstract material that you get later in the film. Where there is the story and psychology is sort of moving towards the unknown, the undiscovered country, and I think exactly, and those sort of, and I wanted to kind of paint with a sort of more abstract colors there, so not using instrumentation that's recognizable.
We're advised to say death a little less. It's not very popular. So I like the undiscovered countries.
Right?
Yeah, that's nice.
The unknown.
Someone wrote that.
A lot
I can't
easier
remember
than death.
Yeah.
Chloe, when you are editing the film, how much are you listening to the score that Max has written for the film or other Max things? What else are you listening to?
This sounds super weird, but just Max. And earlier when I was doing interviews and with WGA, the recording, and they said, "Are you playing music?" It was a recorded interview that, yes, I'm playing the Sleep album. And then, can you turn it off, please? No, jokes aside, I thought it was really important. I don't see my HODs as like a separate branch, separate things, islands. It's very much an ecosystem. The way that is one, one production design decision changed the costume, change Jesse's performance, and change the music. It's been like this since day one. So, and I truly believe in the synchronicities of this ecosystem. So it's so almost very natural for me to edit to only his music, even though it's ones that you haven't composed just from your albums. And then I just knew it was going to be the right thing to do. And I was listening to a lot of his music, just being while I was editing, keeping myself in that ecosystem.
At what point do you feel like you're out of that ecosystem? Are you still in it right now?
Yeah. I think maybe at the last day of the Hamnet press tour, I could maybe take a week off from your music. But you keep producing so much new music. So you, in the middle of our shoot, when they pull, run into the side, just like, have you heard Max's new song? It was in the landscape. It was the love song.
Okay, yeah.
The edit one, and he's it was around the globe time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that came. We put it on repeat.
Right.
And he said he wrote it for us. I'm like, no, he didn't, but no, he was so just could not believe that came out around the time that we were. Yeah, so yeah, can't escape him. He produced it.
Max, what was it like for you to see the finished film? What's it like for you to see any of these finished projects after you're doing your own part, sometimes alone?
Yeah, I love it. One of the things I love about working in cinema is that it's really collaborative. It's really a million conversations, and it's a sort of, my solo albums are just me sitting in a room. That's just that's it. For weeks on end and months on end, which is fine. But it's also nice to get out and talk to people sometimes. So yeah, I love working in cinema because of that.
Chloe, for you, is a film ever done?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Say that. Most filmmakers don't say that. That's great.
I'm not I get really bored. It's write the script for a few months, edit for 2 tops, and then quickly sound music, get finished. We started writing the script end of January last year. That's as much of attention span I have for one film. So it is done. Yeah.
I think that's all we have time for. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.